like a dozen times you've had glaciers going up, glaciers going back, warmings, coolings. This has happened a dozen times. And however, we are now being taught that this time, when there is a moderate warming going on, that this is caused by human activity. Well, it is not caused by human activity. And I hope all of you go to my website and look at Rohrabacher, house.house.gov. We've got a list of thousands of scientists who tell you this theory that people's activity is changing the climate is a hoax that has been purchased at the price of billions of dollars of research contracts that have been given to scientists and engineers who the only prerequisite of them getting that is that they bolster the cause of global warming, because there is that is what the agenda is. Now, let me know. I happen to believe that we should be doing everything that we can to develop technologies that will clean the air, clean the water, clean the soil, not because the planet is in danger of us and changing the climate of the planet, but because it's better for human beings. I have 3 little children at home. I want them to have clean water. I want them to breathe clean air. And I want them to have soil that's a clean soil. Now, that should be our main goal, not some scare tactic which has only resulted in what? Not new technology being developed, which we need to develop. We need to spend those billions of dollars developing technology that will make the air clean, make the water clean, make the soil clean. Instead, billions of dollars have been channeled into research in order to prove global warming. It's ridiculous. So what we have to do, and I invite all of you to look at the website, again, thousands of scientists from the top universities of the world claiming that this is not accurate at all. Global warming, they're skeptical, if not downright opposed to the concept. But, let me say for myself, I spent a lot of time and effort trying to make sure that we have developed the alternatives that we're talking about. I've been on the Science Committee. I'm not someone who's seen that the Science Committee is just someone who is just in favor of the oil business. The fact is that I don't believe that we should punish the oil industry. We do depend on oil, but we should try to increase our supply where we can in order not to be dependent on Middle East oil. But in the long run, we know that we need to invest in technology that will enable us to be independent, not only of Middle East oil, but of oil in general, because 20 or 30 years from now, we will be prepared to have a cost-effective way of producing clean energy. I was very supportive of that.
All right. Mr. Brandt, do you see a problem with climate change?
Yes. In fact, that is a big difference between the two of us. My opponent, back in '94, he characterized global warming as liberal claptrap. In 2001, he called it global baloney. In 2006, this year, he said, what we really need to do is bulldoze all the rainforests and plant young trees, because that's where most of the greenhouse gases come from. So, no, I have a completely different view. I don't get into the argument about how much of human interaction causes global warming. I'm not a scientist, and I agree with him. I've read so many of them, and that's above my pay grade. But I don't care. What I'm looking at, what they spend all the money in, isn't proving the argument. It's what to do about it, because we still have it. It doesn't matter if humans cause it or they don't. What's the difference? I want to drive my car down the Pacific Coast Highway with the top down, and have my kids in the car and not have them get asthma. That's what I want. And every remedy that is proposed, it makes the air quality cleaner. And what I have read from the scientists that I trust, they say the real problem isn't running out of oil, the oil in the world. The challenge is whether or not we run out of air to breathe. If we look at the way it's going, we'll run out of air before we run out of fossil fuel. If you don't think that scares you, you should give it a second thought. And so, like I say, alternative energy sources, we need to focus on it, get the American taxpayers behind it, and move full speed ahead. And that's where we need to go. And get out of this argument about global warming. It exists. Every one of them says it exists. It's this argument about
That's the basis of the whole debate on what global warming is. I mean, no one has any doubt that we're going through a warming period now, just as we've done a dozen times before in the history of the planet. The question, the liberal establishment, whoever is conducting this strategy, wants to convince us that it's human actions. We're at fault. That's the whole thing. That's the whole point, because that gives them the right to grant research projects that are not aimed at solutions. They're aimed at proving that human beings are the problem. Where I just, by the way, let me just note, I never advocated bulldozing the rainforest. What I suggested was, if you believe that greenhouse gases are the cause of global warming, well then you look, what is the major source of greenhouse gas on the planet? You will find it's rotting wood from rainforests being eaten by termites. That's the huge, oh, you're laugh all you want. The fact is, this is the testimony of the congressional committee that I have sat on. And if you disagree with that, go look at the webpage. But the fact is, that is what's been advocated, or that's what's been described by some of the most prominent scientists in the field, that you've got, this is the biggest source of greenhouse gases. Rotting wood and bugs involved in the rotting wood. Now, you know what? If you believe that, then your solution to global warming should be bulldozing the forests and planting young trees. Now, I don't agree with that theory. I don't agree with it at all. And the fact is that those of you who think it's nonsense, just make sure that you're open-minded enough to take a look at all the people from MIT and all the other major universities around the world who think that that this stuff about global warming caused by human action is a bunch of bunk. And let me note that every hearing that I've been at, they have suggested that mankind's contribution to greenhouse gases is about 5%. 95% of it comes from nature. Now, what we need to do then is to make sure that we're trying to clean the air by what we do and not necessarily trying to control nature or control human. But I agree with, I don't think, frankly, having listened to my opponent, I don't think we have a disagreement on this at all. So we both want to develop energy. He says, what difference does it make that whether human action does it? Let's clean up the air. I'm for that. Let's do it.